to the Platform Podcast, episode number 10. We're in the double digits now.
Wow, number 10. And I think one thing that we never clarified was our idea of not having guests, but having couch surfers, because we have this really ugly couch in our studio, and so the idea was that our guests were sitting on the couch, so they're our couch surfers. And we've had a few guests on there already, and I don't think we ever actually talked about that. So, Joel, you get to be the first one introduced as a couch surfer.
As a couch surfer. Awesome. Well, it's a very comfortable couch. You sink right in.
You do. That's why we had to prop it up on skateboards so that you're not too low.
Oh, I see, yeah. It's a little wobbly. Hopefully I don't go over, but
Nobody has yet,
Yeah,
so
we
it should
haven't
be
yet.
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're glad that you were able to join us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great conversation. So maybe a good place to start for people that are listening is, who is Joel Reimer?
All right, so I'm Joel Reimer. I'm born and raised in Portage. Just chilling, having a good time. Skateboarding has been my passion. Always been my passion. So when I was about 9, I think grade 4, I got a skateboard for a triclothlon. Yeah, we were fundraising for a triclothlon. I got a pool and a skateboard. And
A pool?
Yeah, like a little inflatable pool, one of the ones with the ring that you blow up.
Oh, yeah.
So I got that. I remember rolling.
Going back, how did you get this?
It was like a triclothlon, little fundraiser for school. We were fundraising. I can't remember what the purpose of fundraising was for.
Okay, so we just, in our episode with Colin, he talked about a cyclothon where he was trying to win a skateboard.
Okay.
And so
that's interesting.
It's funny that
Probably
you're
same
talking about the
concept,
same
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I raised enough money. If depending on how much you raised, you got different prizes.
Right.
So I had raised enough to get a tier 3 and a tier 2 prize or something. And a tier 3 would have been the pool, and a tier 2 would have been the cheap Walmart skateboard.
Right.
I just remember being so excited, rolling that pool down the hallways on my new skateboard. The classroom took it there. Yeah, it was fun. So I took it home, and my dad built me a little ramp, and didn't really learn a whole lot until about high school. But
So when your dad built you a ramp, what did that look like exactly?
so he didn't build it from scratch. We got 2 quarter pipes, but they were really, really steep.
Okay.
So we cut the top down, and then he flipped them sideways, connected them together to make a really mellow little mini ramp
Oh, okay.
instead of a really steep half pipe,
Yeah. Yeah.
because that wouldn't have been fun to learn on.
Right. Okay. And so is this like in the house or?
Oh, no, that's the dream. But no, it was just outside in front of my garage.
Okay. And
Now
so,
where you're, like, now you have a half pipe there.
No, that's in the backyard. This was in like the front yard.
Oh, I
like
see.
just 10 steps out my front door or whatever. Just a little, it was like maybe as tall as this table, 2.5 feet. Wasn't really anything too exciting, but it was good for learning on.
I really like that. Like just the really small ones. Because
Yeah.
I feel like I'm way more brave.
Like when we go to the edge, you and I will skate that little one for quite a while.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
so you were hitting it with the Walmart board,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and it actually could get to the top of that ramp?
So I learned how to drop in, but I wouldn't be
okay.
able to pump or anything.
Right.
And then I would start at the bottom and then just push, and I would go and I'd carve.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember being like, oh, nice, I did 3 carves this time. I'm going to try for 4 carves next time. And being so dizzy at the end of all of it. But you get used to that.
It's funny how pretty much all our guests start on Walmart boards.
I've noticed that trend, yeah.
I know. I think it was the first episode we talked about Walmart boards. My experience with them.
Yeah. I think Raleigh, so far from the guests that we've had, Raleigh has the most experience with them because he didn't just start on it. He actually like rode them for a while.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I
had a
learned
few.
to skate on Walmart boards.
Yeah. I would go off the kicker at the skate park by the barrier, and I'd come down, and just from doing that, I maybe was like 90 pounds as a kid, and I would bend the trucks.
Yeah. Did you ever snap any?
I didn't snap any, not like you, no, but I'd bend the trucks. No boards ever broke on my Walmart decks.
Really?
I didn't break a lot.
Yeah, like I'm thinking about switching to Walmart decks just to save some money here.
Yeah. I guess if they haven't ever broke for you, that might be a good option.
Yeah.
Skate on cardboard.
Yeah. I think the way that you skate now, it probably is a bad idea.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't work at all.
So you're skating in the front yard. Did you live in the country at that time?
Yeah,
Oh,
I've been living in the country for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So it was, yeah. So you're like a little bit like Raleigh that way, as
Yeah.
far as like not having a lot of
right.
street spots or whatever. You're just got the ramp on the driveway kind of thing.
And like Raleigh was saying, across the street, I believe he said there's an old truck
Yeah.
stop or whatever that you had a cement pad.
Yeah.
I had a little cement pad just like in the garage door opening. It might have been like 1.5 feet wide by 4 feet long.
Oh.
That was the first place I landed a kickflip.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember that pretty vividly. Yeah.
That's a lot smaller of a space than I had.
Yeah, I wasn't able to move, which was unfortunate because doing trick skateboarding, moving versus stationary is very different.
It's so different.
Like-
Yeah. Yeah.
Got to be rolling to keep your balance. It's like riding a bike. You can't sit still on a bike and stay still. It's easier the faster you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I know a lot of people that'll be like, "Oh, I just landed a shove it," and it's like, "Well, you landed a shove it in the grass." Like, you know, like landing a shove it moving on pavement is a lot different than.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I get it because you like learn the concept of it, but
Yeah.
it's also like, yeah, it's
Like,
not the same thing.
Nowadays, I don't even bother trying to trick standing still.
No,
I'll go straight into rolling, even going a lot faster than I'm comfortable with when I'm learning new tricks now.
Really.
I find that the faster I'm going, the easier it is to land the trick. It's a little bit more worrisome that you're going to hit the ground, but when you roll away from a trick going a lot faster, it feels a lot cleaner.
True.
I would agree. Like that's one of the things that I fight with now, like being older and really being scared to fall. I agree with that concept that the faster you go, the easier stuff flips around or spins or whatever. But it's just to get myself to do it is
it's a mental game. It really
it's
is.
such a mental game. Yeah.
Because everyone, like you can do an ollie, but when you're going as fast as you can go, an ollie is terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to do an ollie at the bottom of the overpass.
Yeah.
You want to slow down quite a bit, but it's just an ollie.
Yeah.
You should
Right.
be able to do that,
Yeah.
but it's different.
Yeah. Like, cause I mean, I probably in my few years of skateboarding, I've done like thousands of ollies, right? But to like be doing one a little bit too fast, like my brain is such like, I have such mental or what's that called? Muscle memory. I have such muscle memory with it, but yeah, going fast, it gets scary.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen you do some tricks pretty fast.
I've been pushing myself.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's fun
yeah.
to see how fast you can go, and then if you wipe out, it's how many times you roll when you hit the ground. That's the next thing you count. Yeah.
You're wanting to go faster so that you can hit the bigger sets, or
Yes,
what?
exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like I go too slow down sets, so there's a lot of compression at the bottom. I feel the faster I go, the less impact I'll have to take.
Just because of your momentum, or
Yeah, I think something like that. It's
Yeah.
gotta be.
I actually agree with that, and I actually find that when I go the speed that I'm comfortable with, I can actually do a set. And then it's like I'll try, and I'm like, okay, I just got to force myself to go faster. And as soon as I go faster, I can land the set clean. It's this weird thing that it's like, yeah, for some reason, that speed that's comfortable doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing because it's almost like, I don't know how to put this, but when you're going down the set and you're going slow, you have to lean a certain way to catch yourself, I guess. I don't know. But if you're going faster, you're just soaring out. But yeah.
Yeah, I kind of get that.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. I hope people just be like, oh, I know exactly what you're saying.
Or else they'll be like me and not catch any of that.
Yeah.
No,
I feel like Steve doesn't
feel what you're saying. Yeah.
I feel like Steve doesn't catch most of the things I say.
That's not true.
But yeah, like I would go and I'd hit a 9-stair, and it would be just as comfortable as I was going to hit a 9-stair. And I'd land, and my butt would almost hit the board. That's how hard I was
You're right.
compressing. And then same park, Michael Comenda, I'd go across to the 4 flat 4. and you have to go so much faster for that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I didn't want to do it too many times. I wiped out the first time, and I was like, okay, I'm not doing this again. But I did it again, landed it second try, but it felt like I went down a 6 stair just because of how fast
Because
I
of
was
the
going.
speed, yeah.
Wow.
So that's when it clicked in my head that I have to go faster, and it'll become easier.
Yeah. I 100% agree with that for sure. And yeah, we were talking about landing tricks standing still in the driveway.
Oh yeah. I learned on my deck.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
in between the boards on the deck, there would be little gaps, and I'd put my wheels in there,
Oh, okay.
and that's how I learned how to ollie. Parents hated it, but
Right.
It's loud.
yeah, what can they do?
Yeah. I remember doing that in the wintertime when I first started skating and like practicing tricks stationary like that in my house on the carpet. And yeah, it is completely different than rolling. I'm not sure how much it was helpful, but I remember doing that. I remember you could buy special wheels that are for learning, where,
Right.
like they won't.
Yeah.
I don't know. They don't roll or
like
whatever.
little rubber caps you can put on them that make it into a square wheel or
Yeah,
something.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that, but that's a different
Yeah. I guess
different
like
topic for
like
a
I
different
just
day.
I just think of like back then like I don't remember having a place to like I didn't where I lived there was nowhere to go outside really other than on ice or snow, but
Right.
Also found on carpet too, you lose a lot of pop. You don't have the same pop. Even on the deck, having your wheels kind of dropped into that slot a little bit, you lost a bit of pop there. And like that's why I don't really recommend learning things in the grass for beginners. I'd rather someone find a crack or something to lock their wheel into.
I think though that when people do that, it isn't. I don't think they're scared of the board moving when they're like starting the trick. I think they're scared of landing and it shooting out.
Oh, okay.
And so that's why. So I've seen guys before where they practice tricks rolling, and they'll do it right at the edge of a cement pad onto the grass.
Yeah.
So that they can like roll and learn the trick, but they're not landing where they're going to shoot out, which like the idea makes sense to me, I guess. But then you still, at the end, you still have to learn to land it on cement or pavement.
Right. That's just
Without
a stepping
rolling
stone
on it.
for learning the trick.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think there's a right or wrong way as long as people are trying and getting on their board. That's the good thing, right? And so whatever kids are comfortable with, I think it's best that they're trying, and hopefully they'll get to the space where they are comfortable going faster and learning.
Landing on the cement.
Yeah.
Rolling away bolts.
Yeah. So where did you get your influence from in those early days? Like you got the Walmart board. Where were you learning about skateboarding?
Okay, so this is going to kind of sound like Raleigh's story a bit with the Tony Hawk Pro Skater, but I played a lot of that game as a kid. I remember on the GameCube playing it and the Xbox original. So I did that quite a bit. And my dad...
Which one on the GameCube?
Oh, it was the one where you can get off of your board.
That's Underground?
I can't quite remember. I'm thinking it's either 2 or Underground, yeah. So, yeah, I played a lot of those games. And then my dad... When he grew up, he was a skateboarder, BMXer kind of guy. So he was into the extreme sports. And so I kind of just picked it up from him, and he was out there alongside with me, making sure I was going up and down the ramp the right way and teaching me how to ollie. And
Nice.
Yeah, I was actually going to mention that in my BMX days, I used to BMX with your dad.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, like it's interesting or it's sad that I'm that old that now like I used to BMX with your dad, and now I skate with you. So second generation.
Second generation, yeah. No, that's exciting. I don't think that's weird at all or anything. I enjoy it. I enjoy being in your presence, and you're such a role model to me.
Thank you.
Going through your knee surgery and still coming out strong and skating every day and being out here inspiring all the kids.
Yeah. I've said the same kind of things or what did I say to you the other day? It was like, we all of us look at you being the old guy, and it gives us a bit more motivation to keep going.
Yeah.
We have no excuses.
Yeah, exactly. But I remember after the second time I tore the ligaments in my ankle, I was like, I don't really want to skateboard anymore. But you came out of your surgery so strong and with such goodwill that just kept me motivated to keep going.
Oh, thanks. So yeah, you had something that most of us didn't have then. You had a dad that kind of was able to, I guess, have some influence on.
Yeah, and guide me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was nice. It definitely helped for sure with my upbringing, and just every day I wanted to be out and skateboarding. So he would take me anywhere I wanted to go, really.
Nice.
And he would ride with me too, so that helped a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a big difference. I look at some of the second generation pro skaters now, and how they talked about, hanging out at the park or whatever with their dads, and how much that influenced them.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. It's a nice connection to have with your dad.
For sure.
Yeah. And it's not like he's just sitting there and be like, oh, when can we go? He's like doing it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is really good.
He'd always get stoked when I'd land new tricks, and it'd always push me harder to try to impress him. And
cool.
that was really nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Who were your guys' mentors coming up in skateboarding?
Oh, well, I was got into skateboarding pretty late, and like basically, like in person or just in general.
Yeah, just in general.
Yeah, I didn't watch skate videos for the longest time. I didn't really have anybody. I kind of just started skating like by myself a lot, and then I had some friends or whatever, but I didn't really like follow any pros or whatever. And then eventually when I came here, Steve like taught me a lot, and I like started progressing when I came here. So I'd say probably Steve then.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think everyone looks up to Steve though.
Yeah.
For me, I think like back in the old platform days, there was just a whole group of guys that were like good skateboarders, and I was just beginning, and they were just so encouraging all the time. Like, I don't know if I would pick out any one person, but there was just a group of them that were always so encouraging and cheering me on and giving me tips and stuff. It was a good scene for me back then, and that would be where I would have like got my foundation in skateboarding for sure, was at the platform.
I'm liking the posts on Instagram of the old platform and Campbell soup. Bringing back the memories.
Yeah, it is. It's fun to put those on there, and the comments and feedback that we're getting on that. It's really exciting. Ben is in the process of getting all the footage off of the old mini DV tapes.
Oh, sweet.
And so we're hoping that we'll have lots more to be able to post. And there's going to be some real gold in some of that footage, I think. There's trips. There's from the old platform. There's from the Campbell Soup skate park. There's going to be some good footage that we get to go through. He's got a lot of tapes to get through, though. So
keeping him busy.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited to see some of that footage. We got he gave us a few clips the other day, and so there's most of it is from trips, the footage that he got us, but there's even some footage from the mini in my basement. So I'll post that up one of these days too.
Sweet.
Did you ever go to Campbell Soup?
I went there with my dad just a couple times when he went to go visit Steve.
Oh, okay.
And I'd go and I'd hang out in the skate park for a little bit, but mostly I'd go into the shop and I'd watch like the pro videos that you had on the TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you go to the platform too?
No, I don't have any memories of the platform, unfortunately.
Yeah, that is unfortunate.
And then the shop. Were you around for the shop?
I was around, but I wasn't active in the community at that point.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been when I was on my Walmart boards.
Right.
I poked my head in once or twice, but nothing too serious. I don't think I ever bought anything.
Yeah. Well, that's more than what I did. So I wasn't around for any of it.
So after the Walmart board, then what?
So I got my first full complete setup for Christmas the winter of grade 9.
Mm.
And it was a Death Wish. It was Death Wish Before Dishonor. Death Wish Before Dishonor was the graphic, and
Right.
it was a felt board. And I thought it was the coolest.
Mm.
With some shake junt grip, Bones wheels. They were bright lime green,
Nice.
and some independent trucks.
Nice.
Nice.
It's a nice first setup.
It
Yeah.
was beautiful for a setup. Lasted me forever. I think I still have the trucks at home.
Wow.
The wheels I rode for about 5 years, and the board didn't last too long. We rode it out in the winter a lot. Like I'd wear that thing with my winter boots on, and I'd go outside and I'd learn how to ollie and frontside 180
Mm.
in my winter boots. Yeah, it was
Wow.
interesting.
That does not sound comfortable.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I mean,
No?
I wasn't doing anything too crazy at that point, so it was just kind of getting the basics down, riding around.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that time when we were going to Long Plain every week, and you were coming back from work, and you brought your board and everything, but you forgot your shoes.
Mhm.
You just skated in your work boots,
steel
big
toe boots,
steel
yeah.
toes.
That was fun. I wasn't actually doing too bad.
No,
it
it was actually pretty good.
was kind of fun actually. I'd do a day every
Yeah.
summer like
Didn't
that.
you land a tray?
Oh yeah,
on them?
Yeah.
we got a few of them. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was fun.
yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, but the tray flip, that's more in the scoop in the back foot. Like
That
you
is
don't
true,
you
yeah.
don't need to do much flicking or anything too
Right.
Yeah.
complicated. The kick flip was definitely harder.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then when did you get the bigger ramp built in the backyard, like the blue one that you had?
Oh, okay. That would have been probably around grade 9 as well.
Oh,
Maybe
okay.
grade 10 after I got my first board for sure though.
Mm-hmm.
So we built, it was 3.5 feet tall, 24 feet long, and 8 feet wide.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what we did with the platform, but it was drop down. So when you'd go to drop in, instead of your board being like level at the skate park we have, it would be like tilted way up.
Mm.
And I feel like that really tripped me out at first. I remember when I
Okay.
was first learning how to drop in, we would bring out mattresses to the ramp even. And
Oh,
it was like
yeah.
a little 3.5 foot ramp, but we would get so scared of this thing. We'd bring the mattresses out and we'd just drop in, fall into the mattress, drop in and fall into the mattress. And we did that for a good, probably 2 days. And then eventually we got comfortable with it and we were able to drop in. And then we added on to it, probably grade 11. We built a quarter pipe right beside it for BMXing, an 8 foot tall quarter pipe.
Right.
With, it was 8 feet wide as well.
Mhm.
And I was getting so close on the BMX to going over the coping. And I think my dad got really close as well. And that pushed me a lot to see him because he would have been getting up there in age at the time, off the bike for a long time. So seeing him do that was really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got another quarter pipe from my Uncle Jeff. And he also gave us a little parking curb. And we were able to set up that parking curb like on the ramps. And it was a sweet little setup in the backyard there.
Yeah, I remember seeing it once you had the 8 foot. Was the first time that I saw it.
Mhm.
An 8 foot quarter.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we couldn't skateboard on it, but we were able to BMX on it. So I'd go like to the start of my driveway, like 120 feet back, and I would just pedal as fast as I could.
Because there was like no thing on the bottom to skate. Like it would have been on grass.
It would have been it was straight gravel right onto the plywood.
Yeah.
There's no deck or anything to.
And then you had a different mini.
Yeah.
In the yard?
So we had a 4-footer was given to us. So then that's when we built a little deck at the bottom of the 8-footer and connected it to the mini. So it was like a really steep one. It would have been like the 4-footer at the forks at the bottom of the 4-stair. If you know how steep that kind of goes. Yeah, it was kind of like that. So then you'd have a 4 foot on this side and then an 8 foot on this side and then two like really mellow 3.5 foots.
Wow.
Like side by side.
So it would have been like basically vert at 4 feet.
Yeah.
That's
so
crazy.
it was a vert 4-footer and then a vert 8-footer.
Wow.
Pretty much. It was so fun.
Have you ever been to the Carberry skate park?
Yes.
Yeah, I lived there for about a month, and it was it similar to like that half or that mini?
the metal one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of felt like that. It was pretty steep.
That thing is
and
terrible.
aggressive,
But yeah. Wow. So okay, so you had that ramp, and then you built this one. What was the next one?
Yeah,
Like
this was the next one. So this one we started 2018. It was a long time ago we started it.
Yeah.
We built the skeleton for it. I tore down the old ramps because they were just getting all rotten and gross and an eyesore. I was like, Steve, let's build another ramp. So we built a 6 foot tall, 16 foot wide half pipe.
Yeah.
With a roll in on the one side.
Yeah. That thing is
It's a monster.
huge.
Yeah, it's spooky, but it's so fun. And
Yeah.
I really hope we can get to sheeting it with some skate light or similar material in the spring.
That is the goal for sure.
We were looking into that stuff, and it didn't seem too bad.
Yeah. We've been pricing it out a little bit too.
Yeah, because Raleigh wants to put a ramp in his backyard too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
I would highly recommend it.
I think in the spring, probably. Hopefully people don't find out where I live. End up with people in my backyard.
Yeah.
No, that's what I want. I want people to come and skate. But yeah, probably like a 4 foot.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like having a mini ramp in your backyard, it'll help progress your skill. If you're on the mini ramp, you're on the board, and it's all about your time on the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The more time you spend, the more balance you get.
For sure.
And then mini ramps are just so fun anyway.
Yeah.
That's what I found with the one that I had in the basement was 2.5 feet high. And it was so mellow that things were really easy to learn on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was still hard to go and learn those tricks on a regular mini, but I think it definitely helps because you know the idea of the trick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you know what kind of the motion or whatever. It just changes with a bigger ramp, but the idea is there. And so even like learning tricks on my little on that little mini in my basement made a huge difference when I go skate the mini at the skate park.
Right. It'd be like the concept of doing the ollie into the grass. Or whatever.
Right. Yeah. I had a 2.5 foot. I had 2 quarters, and I just put them in my garage and used them as a mini.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes I would like learn tricks or whatever, and they were so mellow and small. And then I would come here and try them, and I've learned a lot of tricks just on smaller things, and then you just keep going bigger. I've seen skate parks where they have like a little mini, and then they have another mini beside it that's bigger, and then a bigger one. And I think that's a really good idea, especially for skating mini ramp, because you just
slowly progress to a taller transition.
Yeah.
Like Skate Park West kind of has that, but just in very small sections.
Mm-hmm.
Skate Park West. I'm trying to think. Where
Down Sturgeon.
Yeah. Where do they have? Oh, they have huge quarter pipes, don't they?
Yeah, a couple of them.
Yeah. So if you're comfortable learning on huge quarter pipes, then go for it.
Yeah. But the section it might only be like 1.5 feet, 2 feet wide, so it'd be hard to learn any grinds or anything. Like you'd be able to do your axle and feeble stalls and stuff like that, but to do like a Smith grind or an axle grind, you wouldn't be able to do that too well. They have a really nice mini
on which
there,
one?
Though. Just like the quarter pipe that's on I think that'd be the north side of the park.
Yeah, it's got the extension on it.
Yeah, like the one that is used. I use it as a 3-block more than I use it as a quarter pipe.
Yeah. Yeah, the 3-block on the side.
So you have that ramp in the backyard. When did you start coming into town and scaring Raleigh away from the skate park?
Oh, geez. Well, that would have been probably close to when I got my license, so about 16 or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would have been 16. So, and you're a year older than me.
17
so 17,
then,
yeah.
I mean, I didn't mean to scare you away.
Yeah.
The more the merrier.
Did I tell that story?
You did, yeah. You made me laugh. When I watched that first episode, I busted a gut laughing.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys were terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because it was just like, as soon as your buddy got out of the car, he just like went board slid, and I was like, never seen anything like it. So I was like, all right, guess I'm out.
Hey man, we all start somewhere.
I know. Yeah. And I take that now and try to encourage kids.
Oh, for sure.
To be like, just progress at your own level. That's what it's about, kind of thing. Because if someone would have told me that back then, I would have been probably a lot more comfortable or had someone to skate with. But
for sure, man. And like, that's what I love about skateboarding, though, is anybody at any level gets the same amount of hype.
Yeah.
Jaden could land a huge backside heel off of a kicker, and I'd be like, yeah, that was kind of cool. But like, if you were just starting and you landed your first ollie, man, I'd be so hyped for you. I'd be throwing my board around.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what level you're at, as long as you're having a good time and contributing.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
Yeah. I think that I don't know if I could even ollie then when I showed up.
That was pretty early in your skate career, right?
Yeah, very early. I probably had a Walmart board at that point. 16, yeah, I probably did. Probably like just learned how to ollie, but yeah, it's intimidating.
Oh, for sure. And even I'm like myself, when I go to a new park, I'll get jello legs.
Oh, for sure.
You just don't know what the community's like and what people are going to think of you. And
yeah. And that's, again, that whole mental thing. We've talked about that before. Like, it's all in your head, right?
Yeah.
Like, we are always happy when new people come and skate our spot or whatever. And so why wouldn't other people be?
You're right.
It's just, it's in your own head.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I do want to make sure that our listeners know is the dedication that I always saw in you. Like, when you started coming into town and hitting the park, I would see you skating for hours and hours and hours. And sometimes it was by yourself. Sometimes I think Colby skated with you a lot back then, right?
Colby was he was around quite a bit.
Yeah. And so, often just like there'd be nobody else skating and you'd be out there skating. And I was always impressed by your dedication to, like, and some of those were hot days.
Oh, yeah.
And you just kept skating, and your skill shows it, that
means a lot.
Yeah. It was just super encouraging for me as somebody, that has watched all different types of skaters come up, and you see some that are, they dabble, and then you have some that are like all in. And I always saw you as that guy that was all in. And it just always was an encouragement to me when I'd drive past the park and, oh, Joel's there again. Drive past, and like hours later, he's still there.
Yeah.
I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. I really couldn't.
Yeah. I don't know how you could spend hours at that park though. That's a long time to spend.
that park it gets dull really quick.
Yeah. I guess if you have enough tricks though.
You're always learning, There's always something to learn at that park. And once you get to a point, that park does become a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. There's just endless possibilities of things you can do. When you bring that kicker, I have so much fun there. Yeah. There's so much to do when you bring that kicker.
Yeah. I remember I think it was the day I made it. I brought it there for skate night. And I don't know if anybody showed up. I think it was me and you.
Yeah, maybe one kid,
I think. And you were just
Patricio, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah. And you were like, we got a kicker. And you're you're just like, we spent a lot of time on the kicker. I think you brought the kicker to basically every obstacle.
I think I took it everywhere,
tried something.
I hit the barrier with it. I went over the bench.
Yeah.
I board slid the top of the couch, and then I was going over the quarter moon.
Yeah.
I think and then onto the box. That was fun doing the kicker gap to box manual.
Slanted box. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I remember being like, hey, Raleigh, check this out. Kickflip man, you first try. Yeah. And then I actually did it. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I think you do that quite a bit. You're like, you get in your head that you're like, I'm going to try this trick and it's going to be so hard, and you don't realize what your level is actually at. And you're like, oh, it's going to take so long. It'll be a good battle. And then you do it first try. Yeah. Like when we were going to Brandon and you're like, oh, I haven't hit stairs in a bit. Like I'm going to, when we get to Brandon, my goal for the whole day is to hit the 6th stair. And I was like, all right. And he goes just to ollie it, and he just
that's a pretty good goal.
Yeah, first try. Like he kick flipped it that day too.
Twice,
yeah.
I think so. And then 3 flat 3 too.
And then 3 flat. That took a little bit.
That was a fight.
But with you, as soon as you commit, like it's like a lot of the time you don't land a trick and slip out.
Or I kick the board away.
Yeah, you kick the board away a lot. You bail that way, but usually once you commit, especially on sets, you usually stick it every time. Yeah. So
it's just such a mental game. I find it's rolling up to it. It's after you pop it and you get a good feel and you're like, okay, yeah, this is the one. Then it's easy after that point.
Right.
But rolling up to that set and it's coming up quick and you're just, ugh.
Yeah.
It's terrifying sometimes.
It was kind of funny that day. There was a few guys that were like, we didn't really hang out with them, but they were kind of like
They're just skating around
chat
us.
with them
Yeah.
and like whatever. And the one guy, he was all right, like he was doing some stuff or whatever, and he wasn't like
They
great.
were just hitting the 3-stair.
Yeah, he wasn't
just
great.
chilling.
And then all of a sudden he goes and just like blasts himself off the 3-flat 3. And I think he landed it. It's pretty sketchy, but I think he got
and
it.
it was only like 4 tries too. He took less tries than I took.
Yeah.
And he killed it.
Yeah.
And that's what inspired me to do it, because there's no way I would ever touch that set any other day. But I was like, if that guy could do it, I could probably do it. And
I do remember that. You're like, I can't let him get away with that.
I waited till he left, though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's some nice skate park etiquette right
Yeah.
there. Not showing up the kid in front of him.
Yeah. I think that's probably comes from like what you were saying about with it, like with your dad, like wanting to always impress him and like get the tricks and stuff. So it's like kind of a little bit of a competitive.
Oh, I take skateboarding very competitively. I can, yeah. I try not to. I just try to go out and have a good time. But
yeah, I think as we get older, it's more like that. But yeah. Yeah, so I think that's probably where it came from.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, I'd get in trouble with Steve because he'd be like, don't try to skateboard to get sponsored. Like, just go out and have fun. Because I took it way too seriously for a long time. And I think that ruined my relationship with skateboarding for a while because I just wasn't enjoying it anymore. I was just going out to try to get better. I wasn't trying to have fun. So you would give me trouble for that. And now looking back at it, I wish I would have listened to you at a younger age. But yeah, no, it's the more you can just go out and have fun, the skill comes over time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's out of the fun that you actually improve, right? Yeah, if you're not having fun, it's really hard to improve.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those crazy things, again, going back to the mental game. And like I think of some of the experience I've had where you get the hockey mom that comes to the skate park, and they like, and what I mean by the hockey mom is like, it seems that hockey parents are like, take it way too serious, and they think that they're like, they've got to push their kid to be the next pro, and they're gonna like be their retirement or whatever. And I know not all hockey parents are like that, but it seems to be a bit of a stereotype. And I remember the first time I saw a hockey mom at the skate park is we were on one of our trips, and we were in Swift Current, and this little guy, I don't know, he might have been like 7 or 8. He was just a little guy, and he's just like, he was really good, just flowing around the park. He was like, he obviously was very comfortable with that park. And so like, just stoked on him, like just being able to, nothing real big, but he could just flow around that park really well. And then all of a sudden, from the side of the park where the parents were watching, it's all of a sudden like, I don't remember his name, but it was just like, okay, put on your helmet. It's time to work on the 7 set now. And he's like, no, Mom, I don't want to. I just want to keep skate. Like, I just want to roll around. It's like, no, you put on your helmet and you go do the 7. And I'm just like, oh, man. Like, I'd never seen a hockey mom at the skate park before. That was a little intense.
I couldn't remember who told me that story, but I was going to bring that up when you brought up the hockey mom thing, because I remember hearing about that story, and it must have been you who told me. But yeah, I couldn't imagine being pushed by someone else like that.
Yeah, it's it definitely takes the fun out of it.
For sure it would.
That guy, like, he's gonna improve by being able to like cruise around that park and right, like, it's not by pushing him to hit the 7 that he's gonna.
When he's ready to hit the 7, he'll hit the 7.
And he'll have fun doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Speaking of trips, that's it's a good transition. I wanted to talk about Lebanon, because you had the opportunity to go with me to Lebanon and do some skate stuff there. Talk about that experience.
Oh, that changed my life for sure. Going on that trip, we met so many great people, and it was going to those schools and seeing those kids, how happy they were, and actually how much of a skate scene was there. That kind of surprised me. There was a few kids. There was one kid at one school who could kickflip.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that really took me by surprise.
Mm-hmm.
It was hot. I do remember that. But it was an amazing trip. We was it 5 different schools we went to?
Yeah.
And
I think so.
we did demos to start, and then we'd bring the kids down and we'd show them how to do tricks and let them ride on the ramps that we built. And we would do little contests within the demos. I remember that. That was fun. And then we went down to the Bacaw Valley. And I remember that because Quinn got mono, and Quinn and Jeff, they couldn't come with us.
That's right. They missed out on that part.
Yeah, that sucked. But when we went down to the Bacaw Valley, that also took me by surprise as well, because Lebanon is the only country over there that doesn't have a desert. So it looked like Manitoba, just a more hillier version. There was farmland, there was agriculture.
Yeah.
And I was not ready for that.
Interesting.
And then what about, so that part of it impacted you. Also, Bacaw Valley is where a lot of refugee camps are. And we got to experience that.
Yeah, we did. We went to the refugee camp, and they were so nice. And we had to have a translator, but you could just hear it in their voice and the way they were talking to you. They wanted you there, and they were there to entertain you. And they had this tea, and it was the best tea I've ever had. Oh, it was so good. Steve's like, if you don't want any, don't finish the cup. Just put it down. They'll take it. They won't give you any more. But if you want some more, finish the cup, because they will always replenish it if it's empty. It's like, okay. Thinking, I'll just have a few sips because I'm not much of a big tea guy. But I think I finished 3 or 4 cups. It was so good. But yeah, they live in tarps. Like, did they have electricity? Just a little bit?
They must have.
Just like for a fan or something, yeah. But it wasn't much.
No.
And it was just as far as the eye could see, a community, and we only got to visit one family.
Really?
Yeah. Well, we went down to a little park afterwards with the group.
Right, the soccer pitch.
Yeah,
there.
the soccer pitch, right?
Yeah. Met some of the kids and and at that one school we had there was all refugee kids that came out for that demo and had an opportunity to ride boards and stuff. Yeah, it's crazy when you think about like where these people live and like where we come from, and to like have the opportunity for those kids to like jump on boards and roll around and not maybe have to think about their living experience for that time, right?
Yeah,
like
just take their mind off it and have a good time and hang out with these people who came over to show them this new sport.
Yeah, just have fun rolling around on boards. Yeah, that I agree with you. That will always impact me. And just the amount of kids that we had interested in all of those schools that we went to.
Every school we went to, it was packed.
Yeah, and they were just so hyped on it.
I've seen some of the pictures, and it's like, where did you guys even have room to skate? So many kids just swarm.
You'd have to keep telling them back up.
Yeah.
They'd get up right in your face when you're getting ready for a trick. Yeah, but it was awesome. And then afterwards at the one school, we had a bunch of kids come around like treating us like celebrities, getting us to sign everything. That was really neat.
Wait till you get sponsored now, though.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah, it is interesting. That's happened in a few countries for me where we've taken skateboarding. I prefer to let the young guys skate the demos, and I'll just try and be there to help. Like I'll film, I'll move ramps around, whatever. Like I'll do my part, but I'm not a big demo skater, and so I'm more comfortable just being there as a support. And yet, like, even though I'm not skating, the kids, like they're so hyped on the whole group that they'll come and like they're asking for my autograph too. I'm like, that's really awkward. I have no reason to sign my name for an autograph. If you're asking for it, I'll do it. But it's a really weird request to have a kid ask you for your autograph.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one little girl, she came up to me after I'd finished signing for about 15 minutes, and I'd signed both her wrists and ankles. She was just obsessed. Yeah, kept coming back, and I had so many wrists and ankles coming at me. I didn't know whose was whose. I was just signing away, and and she came up. She's like, "Look," and I was like, "Oh my goodness." It was kind of funny.
That's hilarious.
But demos, those are different to skate in.
They are, yeah. That's a different animal for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever done anything like that?
Not
like
before
any
that,
kind of demo? No.
So it was really weird going in to that, especially knowing like Fane was coming because he's such a phenomenal skater.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It pushed me a little bit before the trip to try to learn more.
Mm-hmm.
But when I finally did skate with him, I was taken away.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't believe the skill on that guy. We went to the one school that had, I think it was like an 8-stair hubba, like 6 inches wide, and he back 50'd it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. So we had a good time though, and you had some encouraging words for me that definitely helped before the demo, and we just made fun of it. We had a lot of fun. I didn't really think too much of it at the time. I just tried to have fun and go skateboarding. Didn't think about the kids watching.
The funny thing about it too is the thing that always is humorous for me is like you guys are like doing these like what I would call like really good tricks. Like Fane and you are like really throwing it out there, and yet the most hype came when you like are ollieing overboard.
Yeah,
it's like
when we brought the kicker out and we were going for distance and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's so funny because if you're not a skateboarder or don't understand, it's like the craziest thing is just ollieing, like seeing how high you can ollie and keep raising up, like throwing more decks on top, and that gave them way more hype than like seeing like a ridiculous trick done off of something, right?
Yeah, they don't know the skill difference between a kick flip and a hard flip, or a tray
Right.
flip and a laser flip or whatever. So
Yeah.
to them, seeing the visual of the boards getting taller, they can see that progression.
Yeah, exactly. So like, often, and that's, I think, probably was part of my pep talk at the beginning was in the end, it doesn't matter. Just
ollie overboard.
the kids are going to be hyped on an ollie. So
and that's what we ended the demo with at the first school. Anyway, I remember we brought the kicker out and we kept putting the deck farther and farther away from the kicker.
Right.
And I at that point I was into it, and the kids being around and cheering and that hyped me up. And I was able to push myself pretty far, and I surprised myself with how far I could go with my ollie.
Yeah, nice. The other thing I want to talk about that trip, because is the injury.
I was gonna say you ended up in the hospital as well.
A lot of us ended up in the hospital on that trip.
There was a lot of hospital visits on that trip for sure. Yeah, talk about how you ended up in the hospital.
Well, it was Steve's idea for me to bomb this hill. He wanted a video. So I was like, okay, whatever. And the roads there, it doesn't rain very often, so they were very greasy from the vehicles on driving up and down it. It rained, once a month, they said? Twice a month, maybe?
Yeah, I don't remember. But just to give context, like where we were staying.
Oh, yeah.
So Lebanon we were in Beirut, which is a coastal city, obviously, but it's mountainous. So from the coast, like the Mediterranean is right there, and then it just climbs up into the mountains. And so the city is basically set on the side of the mountain. And so like there's hardly a street other than right down by the water. There's hardly a street that is flat there. Right. Like everything's on an incline, and some of them are quite steep, including the road right outside of the apartment that we were staying at.
Yeah. So then the other guys, they were down this hill, and then the road turned right, and they were up the hill a little bit on this one. Right. So they'd bomb their hill and come see us, and then they could bomb the hill and go back. But I don't know what happened when I bombed the hill, because I got to the bottom of the hill and went to go turn to go up to slow down. But the road was greasy as all could be. So the board shot out from underneath me, and I just started running. but I couldn't run fast enough, so I ended up on my hands and knees, and I just seen this SUV coming, and I was, it's like, how do I go about this? So I just put my head down, and I tried to go underneath it, but I caught my shoulder on the muffler, ripped my shirt up, put a big hole in my shoulder, ended up in the hospital. They wanted to give me a stitch. I didn't let them. We were there for a little while, took some x-rays, and
the biggest thing, the main reason we went to the hospital was to make sure there was nothing broken.
Yeah,
there,
it was
because
a trip. And
you were holding your arm pretty good. Like you didn't want that shoulder to move at all.
Not really. No, it hurt.
Yeah,
that wasn't fun.
Yeah. You were like pretty pasty white, and it was. You could tell there was a lot of pain there, and so we had to go get it checked out. For sure.
I would have been fine if we didn't, but like just being on a YFC trip, I figured I'm not going to fight it. They're probably going to make me go.
Yeah, we just wanted to make sure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can, if you're comfortable with it, we can probably throw that footage in.
For
yeah,
sure.
I could send that to you guys for sure.
Yeah.
That's a good one. It's a good watch. You get to hear Steve laugh at me.
That was so. That's the other thing that I wanted to bring up in this episode. So there's 2 times,
at least 2
that
times.
I'm filming Joel, and he falls, and I laugh, and so we need to talk about that because Joel.
You guys got to settle some things.
Joel has some hard feelings towards me over the laughing. And I don't think I've ever, maybe I have tried to explain myself before. Not that I remember. So I have this thing, and it's a horrible thing, but when I'm filming and somebody falls, and if I don't think that they're hurt, I'll just like laugh.
Well, who wouldn't?
And thank you, Joel.
Yeah.
Remember that.
I know. Right? I give you crap for it all the time, Steve, but I understand. I laugh at people who fall down too.
And so the whole thing is, if I would have known there's only 2 times that I can really remember. There's probably way more than that.
But the 2 times of those stick out in my head too.
Right. One at Long Plain Skate Park and in Lebanon.
Yeah.
What was that Long Plain?
Front side grab out of the bowl.
Yeah. And the thing was, I was filming from the top of the bowl.
Okay.
And so when he fell, I don't think I actually saw him actually hit the ground.
No.
Just from where I was standing. Because I was just filming the air coming out of the bowl.
Oh, you're doing an air or like
I have the video. I could send that to you as well if you want it.
Yeah, for sure. And so I couldn't. So it's just like Joel comes up over the coping, and I see him. I'm filming it, and then he just drops out of sight. And so obviously he fell.
Right.
And it was just like whatever. It was just kind of funny the way he just like disappeared.
Yeah.
and I laugh. Of course, I'm recording still, and so then he's hurt. And then he watches the footage, and Steve's laughing
at me again,
And not again. That was the first time, I think. And then Lebanon, it happened again. And it's just like, I felt so bad because he was hurt in Lebanon.
Right. Yeah.
He was hurt at Long Plain too, but from where I was filming, which you'll see on the footage, it's a ways away, and it didn't look bad to me. It looked like you just kind of.
No.
To me, it looked like you were just like throwing yourself at the tire of the vehicle, and it looked like you just like gave it a shoulder check, and so it's like, oh, that's funny, until it's like, and then you get up and you're like holding your arm, and I'm just like, oh crap, he's really hurt.
Yeah.
It is really hard to judge how fast I'm going in that video. Because you're about 80 to 100 feet away at that point.
Yeah,
right.
Like it's a big hill, and you're going fast at the bottom.
So I always feel bad that like when I watch those videos and there's the laugh in there. I wish I could take it out.
Oh no, it makes it so funny looking back at them now, Steve. I laugh every single time.
When you posted it on Instagram, I think. And I laughed at it for sure. Yeah, I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, I hit the ground quite a bit.
Yeah.
I have that snowboarding video of me being towed behind the snowmobile. And I hit the jump and my feet just went straight up.
Oh,
in the
yeah.
air.
Yeah.
That's another fun one to go back to.
I wasn't filming it, so I wasn't laughing on that one.
I'm sure you would have if you were, though.
Probably.
Was there an angle of you hitting the car? Was there an angle like at the car?
No, Steve was the only one filming at that time.
For some reason, I thought I saw a video of you.
The only thing you might have seen is, I think, Fane like zoomed in and did like I can't remember what he did. He did something where it just showed you hitting it over and over again. Maybe a boomerang or something.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because Steve was the only camera on at that time.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I do remember Fane like zooming in and then recording it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's funny.
Like, I made some sick edits while we were down there. Like, every day while we were transporting from spot to spot, he'd be editing.
yeah.
He made lots of little videos with
Just
him.
on his phone?
Yep.
Oh, cool. Wow.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Nice.
I think we filmed everything with our phones on that trip, didn't we?
I don't even think we brought a camera.
I don't remember. Quinn might have had a camera.
Yeah, Quinn brought a camera. I remember
That's
having
right.
trouble in customs on the way to Lebanon
That's
with
right.
it.
Yeah.
Because of a camera?
They wanted to check the camera bag or something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh.
And we didn't have a whole lot of time in between flights, and
Yeah, it was a little bit tight.
Yeah.
We were stressing out making our next flight. So yeah. Yeah, no, that was, I figured we had to bring up the whole laugh thing on this episode.
Yeah.
Get it out of the way.
I don't really mind. It's fun. I laugh at myself now looking back at it in the future, and
Yeah.
even with my more serious injuries, I
Yeah.
laugh at those now because they were on tricks that I've done tens of thousands of times.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just that one time you come down on it the wrong way, and
Yeah. But I completely understand being frustrated in the moment. I hate it when people laugh at me when I fall. It frustrates. I had a cousin that used to, every time I would, like, you'd slip on ice and you'd fall and you're like, that feeling of
yeah.
just laying there, and she'd be dying laughing. And that made me so mad.
Right.
And so I kind of get it. It's like, dude, my arm is like split open. Like,
In the moment when you're hurting,
yeah,
it's not funny.
It's not funny.
Afterwards it is.
Yeah,
But
it's easier to
Oh,
laugh
for
at it
sure.
after the moment.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But I get where you're coming from.
And I've watched so many people fall down and hurt themselves at this point. Like, for me, I'll like react like worried, and I'll be like, "Yo, are you okay?" And if they're fine, then I'll let out my laugh.
Yeah. That's a smart move.
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just not that smart.
Yeah.
Either that or I got to stop filming so that it's not recorded.
Oh no, but then we'd miss all these amazing moments, and we wouldn't be able to share it with everyone else.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. So no hard feelings, guys, or what?
Yeah, no, I think we're good.
Okay.
I can
Thanks,
forgive you.
Good. Well,
Yeah, did we have anything? You have anything else? I
No,
mean,
that's-
we're an hour in.
An
so
hour
good
in.
time, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sweet. Well,
Awesome. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks again for having me. It's been a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I also, just as kind of an outro here, we appreciate you being a patron of the podcast.
For sure.
Once again, just so people know, like, if you sign up to be a patron, you're not only supporting the podcast, which is, I mean, obviously we're rolling already, but it's supporting skateboarding locally, and you get to see firsthand how kids get to come to the park and they don't have to pay anything. So there's no real restriction on, kids needing to have money to skate here.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have chosen to support it and continue to make that possible, that kids can be here and skating as one of our patrons. And we really appreciate it. I think, you were like one of the early adopters of the.
As soon as I found out you guys had a Patreon, I signed up.
Yeah.
I signed up at work on my break.
Yeah. So just want to thank you for that. And that's also an opportunity for us to say, if there's anybody else that wants to, we appreciate it. It helps the local skateboard scene, helps kids be able to come and skate for free, and yeah, we just really appreciate the support, and we have a new one this week. We have a new patron signed up, so we want to thank Colin.
Yeah.
For coming on as a patron, and we're appreciative of all of our patrons, and hopefully you feel like it's money well spent.
Oh, for sure. I love being a part of this community, and I'll do whatever I can to help give back.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Thanks, Joel.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, congratulations on 10 episodes, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hopefully there's many more to come.
Hopefully.
So fun to watch, make me laugh all the time.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's relatable.
All right.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you so much, Joel.
Yeah, thanks.